Let's turn now to Brent Thill for more on Alphabet's mixed results and what it might mean for the stock going forward. He is a senior technology analyst over at Jefferies. Brent, nice to have you here. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
So revenue was a miss. As a matter of fact, it was the slowest rise in 3 years. But you have rated in the past the stock a buy. After this report, do you still feel that way?
We do. It's one quarter. I think what was difficult this quarter was both EMEA, Europe, Middle East and Africa, and the U.S. came in below. Asia did fine. And you saw growth rates in those two regions growing over 20% in the past. They dipped into the mid to high teens, and that was a bigger deceleration than we all thought. Google is the only company in tech that doesn't really provide a lot of guidance. So these are numbers that we all set as the analyst community. We don't get a lot of color. So part of this, too, is that we're effectively, as analysts, trying to put the best foot forward in terms of our estimates, but we don't have any color from the company. So I think that's also a byproduct of Google not giving great color. And they've always had that policy of not giving a lot of color going forward.
But you had to admit that that was quite a decline in growth rates for ad sales, for in the YouTube division especially. Ruth Porat, the CFO, specifically cited YouTube's problems there, and you've had Amazon eating into some of this advertising growth online. So is this an anomaly for one quarter, or is something else going on here?
Well, it's one quarter, so we'll say it's an anomaly. We think there's definitely a general trend. You've seen good Facebook numbers. You saw great Amazon numbers. You've seen the rest of tech do very well. So what I would say is that if there's one takeaway, Google's been the worst of all the companies we cover. Everyone else has been phenomenal in terms of the numbers. And you look at the overall economy, it's exceptional right now. So you look at low unemployment, the consumer demand. Prices are going up across multiple sectors that we cover. So the backdrop is very healthy. So, yeah, I would say that there are a couple of product changes they made. Perhaps there were some sales execution issues in Q1. But, again, it's hard to take one quarter and call it a trend. Google's trend line has been pretty good with the numbers. So we would highlight that Google still remains in a pretty good position, and it trades at a relatively low valuation relative to its peer group.
Very quickly, the European regulatory issues that they've faced, how do you anticipate that going forward?
We don't think it's a huge issue because everyone is underneath the same microscope. Facebook, Amazon, you look at the rest of the internet industry. So we don't think that was the issue. We think the broader issue was more to Google and not related to any regulatory overhang.
Brent, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Brent Thill with Jefferies.